Well, guess what? What's going on? Do more. Same day, do more. I'll do it. I'll do more. Do more same day. Are we ready here? I'm your host who loves you the most. Yeah, even you. And today we're going to this thingy. Thing. Pong. So this is Godot manual official docs for 4.3. And I've went through quite a few things here, not just from the manual, but other things. If you want to learn, I suggest grabbing yourself a link to go through the scripting language. Took me, I don't know, 8 hours, but learned a lot. I had some background, so it was a bit easier. It was not my first time coding. And then I started, because actually first day 1 and day 2 I tried straight away the tutorial. I'll make game, but no. I said I'll take time. And also for the curious ones to get the angle and perspective, I went into detail step by step, actually reading through all this section, because like it says here, this is the best practices introduction. And here I use during the streams. This is what you'll like here. Check this out. Boing. Boing. Ah, look at this. Zoomed in full screen. No more tiny tutorial videos. You can see from, I don't know, you can go and cook in the kitchen and look from far, I don't know, 10 feet. And you can read. I use Windows magnifier. Thank you, you're very kind, sir. So I usually, well, at the moment I don't perform miracles yet. Just got my feet wet. And let me find my zoom here, so the fonts are clear. Stay a while and listen, like I always say. So, what they say in the best practices introduction, it's a series of best practices to work efficiently. Okay. Okay, we should start by reading applying object-oriented principles. Now, since I don't want to replicate what already exists online, I will visit the topic. I will spend time and let it sink into my mind. I'll try to pick up the important bits. But like the programming principles, I'll leave to the viewer reader to actually do the required work and go through that subject. And for example, for this case, applying object-oriented principles in Godot. So on the subject, applying object-oriented principles in Godot, the engine offers two main ways to create reusable objects, scripts and scenes, and neither of these are the typically defined classes under the hood. Still, many best practices using Godot involve applying object-oriented programming principles to the scripts and scenes that compose your game. Now let me go through this again, project creation. So I'm supposed to create a new project. And if I, like I said, go here in this folder, browse, So I'm in this project browsing, learning. Okay. Select current folder, but create my project, create Day10. Learn. And I've got the new create new folder on. It should work now. Now it's not warning me that, yeah, and I can see in my folder that I've got that folder finally created. So here is my empty project right now. Maybe I can use it for some of the bits that are being relayed to us through the manual. And we're ready to roll. I can remove the distractions, the side panels. I've got no file created yet. This is the viewport, the scene, the 3D. Here are the toggles to switch the modes for the game view or the world view, so-called 2D. This would be the flat 2D thing. Then the 3D. Camera is not added to the scene. Script, so if I try to hit the F6, run the current scene, what would I get? There's no defined scene to run. And the tab here says empty. So the script itself, there's no script, there's no code behind. So this would be the script view. And if I switch back to 2D, to start creating, I would select from this section here one of the nodes, and I would select which node to use depending on the use case. 2D scene, 3D scene, user interface, or some other node. Now there are so many built-in nodes for the specific use case that solve or provide specific solutions, and then that depends on the design, the intention. And I want to go through the documentation to actually get the idea of what do they suggest and explain what built-in classes or objects they actually provide. What do they suggest is best? So how scripts work? I wanted to not just do this development drag and drop based for my projects. I wanted actually to dig deeper and learn how to create with code, not just drag and drop the assets in, but actually see how much is possible to create with the code, how much visual elements, graphics can be generated with coding. So the engine provides built-in classes like node. You can extend those to create derived types using a script. Okay, so I understand that object-oriented logic. The scripts are not technically classes. Instead, they are resources that tell the engine a sequence of initializations to perform on one of the engine's built-in classes. Godot's internal classes have methods that register a class data with a class DB. Okay, so they have methods that register a class with a class DB. This database, cool, this database provides runtime access to class information. Class DB contains information about classes like properties, methods, constants, and signals. So signals are Godot specific, let's say, but also in any other event-driven environment there are signals, or traditional old-school Windows messages, the message pump to dispatch the user events. The events user initiates while using the interface of a desktop application. Okay, this class database is what object checks against when performing an operation like accessing a property or calling a method. It checks the database records and the object's base types records to see if the object supports the operation. Attaching a script to your object extends the methods, properties and signals available from the class DB. Even scripts that don't use the extend keyword implicitly inherit from the engine's base reference counted class. As a result, you can instantiate script without the extend keyword from code. Since they extend reference counted, though, you cannot attach them to a node. Okay, let me elaborate on this. I can even scripts that don't use the extends keyword implicitly, they inherit from the engine's base class reference counted. As a result, you can instantiate scripts without the extends keyword from code. Since they extend reference counted, though, you cannot attach them to nodes. So that means that as a node itself has a reference count, and that would be mutually exclusive. Cannot have attached script to another object that is already counted. That's like a, I think, garbage collection. Memory management, references counted. Scenes. What do scenes? Okay, the behavior of scenes has many similarities to classes, so it can make sense to think of a scene as a class. Scenes are reusable, instantiable and inheritable groups of nodes. Creating a scene is similar to having a script that creates nodes and adds them as children using addChild. We often pair a scene with a scripted root node that makes use of the scene's nodes. As such, the script extends the scene by adding behavior through imperative code. I'll try to elaborate this. We often pair a scene with a scripted root node. Okay. That makes use of the scene's nodes. Okay, so the terminology here, just reading like this, we need some more emphasis to put all this into proper context. So, instance, inheritance, what else we have? Extending, imperative code, just laying like this flat in text seems like just a curses from an old drunkard having too much of its moonshine. So, but this all makes sense for me since I've been into the ID. So, for example, if I would, say here select a new node for other node for a scene, we'll get here a list of available elements, and it's a list, okay, it's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, but actually they are, can I collapse them? So they all inherit from the main node, and if I actually read them, it will be clear what's their use case. And I have tooltips. So if I'm not trying to snap my fingers and get the solution sorted out, I might think through what's the my initial intention. So what do we have here in the list? I'll squeeze this more so we can see the bottom, that nothing's been left out. A node base class for all scene objects. There is a viewport, an abstract base class for viewports, encapsulates drawing and interaction. Okay. A canvas item class for everything in 2D space. So if I take a look, let's say in the viewport, what are the what types of viewports? Sub viewport, and an interface to a game world that doesn't create a window or draw to the scene directly. Class for all windows, dialogues and pop-ups. Cool. Acceptable dialogue. So for me, coming from the like, let's say, business apps and desktop, mobile, and the web-based applications that have more elaborate application use case or the business logic, and like we're all trained now with these standards, we can recognize what's going on here. So we have a class accepted dialogue used for the user notification, confirmation dialogue used for confirmation of actions, and so let's say I say confirmation dialogue, I put that in, but this is not good to put as a root class, but just for the sake of presentation I select confirmation dialogue, and here it should be called by some method. I don't think that it can work just on its own. So F5, can I see, maybe I'll hit here Control C to save this. So this will be the generic, and if I hit F6, that I will try to run this, but I don't expect to get anything. So we got nothing, but it didn't break. Okay, here it is. It's actually even simpler. Right away I can see for the node that I've created, it is toggled visibility, it's toggled to hide. like by default, if it's not called out to, it's hidden. So if I would previously implemented some method that would call the dialog, that would toggle its visibility show. And now we can run the scene and get here a dialog showing, positioned at the top left at the 00 coordinates. OK, cancel. That hide it, that hid it. If I rerun or hit cancel, it also hides it. So this pretty much works like something generic. Okay, if I select the node, can I center view? Where would be the position and those things? Can I position it? So now I'm being playful. What do I have here? Window mode, windowed, please confirm. Initial absolute center to primary. Okay, let's say center to primary main window. Okay, center on screen. So it has many methods implemented right out of the box. Center of main window screen of, okay, let's try this. And here I see that it's selecting the position like relative, a mode. It actually places it in the center here. So if I run it again, we'll get it in the center here. Not a big deal, but a big step for all of us here going through this. And probably the X works, so all the framework for managing displaying, it's already ready and available. It's just waiting for me to implement the logic. If I would switch for this script to, for this scene to a script view, I got nothing because it doesn't have any additional scripting, nor it exposes the implementation. But so to handle the inbuilt implementation and whatever is behind that provides this node's functionality, it's actually displaying here in the editor. That for that sake, here are the methods, let's say whatever, exposed here. Same would be if I add a script to this, attach to confirmation dialog, and here is what happens. Okay, I could, let's say, from what I've learned previously, add a export directive. I guess it should be a directive, and say variable my shizzle, say equal sup question mark, and if I switch to 2D and remove enable back the panels, here is what's going on. Here is my export, the custom variable I added. It's exposed here now in the editor, in the inspector panel side, and it's properly displayed as a editable string. If I change here text to that will not change in the script. It doesn't work that way, but it works for on the side of the scene. So the state of a node, the properties and all other elements or whatever changed here is handled by the node implementation on the side of the engine's front end and the representation side. Okay, I'm just now trying to explain something that is even simpler than that, but I just want to point out that the state of my chisel, the custom variable I extended in this declared in the script, is not the same. It will not get updated because the script is script and the state in the editor side is the state what's in the editor. I can double check if when I save everything and reload the project. Let me see what will happen with my custom here. Customization of the value for the variable. So it remembers that, so that these values are contained within the visual side of the editor, while the script side stays like that. And this logic, that separation is here because we have something like animation and those. Well, anyway, this means that I can now this way connect this element to individual side of the editor to other, either keyframe it for animation's sake or otherwise change it. This could be explained simpler, but it was pointed out in some tutorial that there is also a difference. So I'll highlight this export, and my chisel in the export declaration is actually showing here in the inspector. That's done. Let's go on. This is more or less for the sake of simplicity. Where was I? So we often pair a scene with a scripted root node that makes use of the scene's nodes. As such, the script extends the scene by adding behavior through imperative code. The content of a scene helps to define what nodes are available to the script, how they are organized, how they are initialized. Why is any of this important to scene organization? Because instances of scenes are objects. As a result, many object-oriented principles that apply to written code also apply to scenes. Single responsibility, encapsulations, and others. The scene is always an extension of the script attached to its root node. A scene is always an extension of the script attached to its root node. A scene is always an extension of the script. Okay. So you can interpret it as a part of a class. A scene is always an extension, and I can so you can interpret it as a part of class. Okay, most of the techniques explained in this best practices build on this point. Run this. Sweet C64 chiptunes like that. Oh, this will be so awesome. Fade the main official show score. This is from the last stream completed project. Oh, come on. Can we have something more? How would I call it? To play next tune, huh? Come on. Yeah, give me that. Okay, guess what? Air is back. And let's dial down this. Do this. And put back on the official score of the show. About this level, this is good, not too silent. Maybe put it a bit like this. I think I need to redo the filters compression. And like this. Or maybe even tell it